Vanguard is literally the definition of being in the trenches and down bad right now. If you were to look up what being down bad or what being in the trenches means, you'll actually just find Vanguard because the game is struggling to do literally anything. Really, the only thing keeping Vanguard alive right now is the CDL, which is crazy to think. No one really cares about the game, but watching optic and face play, everyone wants to see that. Vanguard itself though, maybe averages 4K viewers on Twitch if it's a good day. Modern Warfare 2019 averages more. Almost a 4-year-old game is averaging more than the last two CODs combined, cause Cold War is maybe pushing 1K. And there are many reasons for this. One obviously being how boring Vanguard is. Season 1 was a huge flop and brought the most meaningless content that we have ever seen in a COD season since the introduction of seasons. And then somehow Season 2 brought even less and even worse content. The only good thing that has come from Vanguard since launch is honestly just Sledgehammer fixing the camo bugs and actually made Atomic actually achievable. The only problem there is that maybe 1% of the player base goes for Atomic, so this really just does not help the game overall. Now obviously since launch there has been a stupid amount of bug fixes, but if you don't have a good fundamental game, fixing every bug in the game is pretty meaningless and doesn't matter at all. And that shows because the hardcore COD players like me and others don't want to play this game because it's so similar to Modern Warfare 2019 and is so boring. And the casual players that get on after a long workday, they also don't want to play the game because it's too broken and it's too boring to please them. And honestly, the reason I think most people don't like this game is because Sledgehammer got rid of their identity that they're known for with their games, and they can't decide what they want this game to be. And obviously, the lack of meaningful content plays into this, but think about it. Infinity Ward is known to have their slower and more tactical shooters, while Treyarch is known to be that fast arcadey style, and Sledgehammer, on the other hand, they're just the more of the in-between, where they have kind of that tactical aspects and the little fast pace as well. They're just kind of like the in-between, like, they're the skip year. They're like, okay, Sledgehammer, cool, give us something, we'll work with it for a year, and then we're gonna go back to Infinity Ward or Treyarch, and we're gonna get all excited again. Honestly, Sledgehammer is really just that bench warmer that occasionally gets to play, and sometimes they hit a home run. But the problem with Vanguard is that Sledgehammer is trying to please those Modern Warfare players because of how popular the game was, and also those Cold War players that want that fast style. Like I said, in between the two, but this can't happen because Modern Warfare quite literally redefined the flow and design of multiplayer, and it was just so unnecessarily redesigned that if you want to aim for a similar style of multiplayer, you would just have to go full blown out and implement those game designs, which Sledgehammer was originally going to do, that we can see from past leaks of the game when it wasn't even announced in the beta of the game. It was very, very similar to Modern Warfare 2019. The original vision of this game was honestly supposed to be just a direct copy and paste from Modern Warfare, but in World War II, and everyone made their point clear that they didn't want that, and so Sledgehammer started to redesign the game in small ways. For example, adding Ninja into the game, making Ghost work like normal Ghost, and adding a perk that makes the minimap work like the classic minimap. And these are all fine changes that they can make, but the problem is that they adhere to that fast-paced game style, especially with the movement being buffed to be faster, which on paper seems good, but you forget that the fundamental design of the game wasn't made for this. So maps and layouts and the high time to kill weren't made for that fast-paced style, and that fast pace and slow pace that Sledgehammer is aiming for just clashes with each other, and it brings us to where we are now, where the game is trying to please two incredibly different games where it just simply does not work. It's simple as that. It just doesn't work because they're so different. They're just incredibly opposite games. If you were to take Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2 and try to make a combine of those two, that could work. But Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019, it just won't work if you just look at it. But of course, this could just be me with my tinfoiled hat on theorizing why the game isn't that fun, or it could actually be a real argument that other people feel. And as I said before, the lack of meaningful content and having strict skill base in this game also does not help the game's case by any means, but I personally just see this game as having an identity crisis of what it wants to be, and as long as Sledgehammer doesn't just pick their stance on what game style they want, the game will continue to fail and drive players away. There's a reason this game is one of the least selling CODs of all time, and it's not simply the lack of content, because Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War had less content on launch than Vanguard did, and they did miles better in sales. So obviously there's something else affecting players from not wanting to play, and hopefully I made sense of what others are feeling, as that's what I'm personally feeling. For now though, Vanguard will simply just be down bad until Sledgehammer starts adding more stuff into the game and giving people incentive to play. Let me know though what you think of Vanguard and if you're enjoying it right now in the comments below. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. But until next time, See ya.